Jai Shri Krishna, Namaste.
Audio on.
Today we are staging a virtual Nari Samelan, and basically what that means is that we are having a celebration of women, and in particular today a celebration of some of the multi-talented women in our community. We are going to start with our first wonderful woman who is Rina Ben.
Prayer.
Oh, sorry. We're going to start with our prayer first, which Guruji will lead us into.
Hari Om Vakratunda Mahakaya Surya Koti Samaprabha Nirvignam Kuru Me Devam Sarvakaryesu Sarvada Om Krishnaya Vasudevaya Haraye Paramatmane Pranatah Kleshanashaya Govindaya Namo Namah Om Jayanti Mangala Kali Bhadrakali Kapalini Durga Kshama Shiva Dhatri Swaha Swadha Namostute Om Triambakam Yajamahe Sugandhim Pushtivardhanam Urvarukamiva Bandhanat Mrityormokshiyamamratat Om Triambakam Yajamahe Sugandhim Pushtivardhanam Urvarukamiva Bandhanat Mrityormokshiyamamratat Om Triambakam Yajamahe Sugandhim Pushtivardhanam Urvarukamiva Bandhanat Mrityormokshiyamamratat Om Bhurbhuvasvaha Tatsaviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yo Nah Prachodayat Om Bhurbhuvasvaha Tatsaviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yo Nah Prachodayat Om Bhurbhuvasvaha Tatsaviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yo Nah Prachodayato. Dear devotees, welcome once again. Now, our guest and anchor today is Neelaben Daya. She will introduce everyone, but I'm going to introduce her because she is the one who is doing so much things, so many things. Long list, but one thing is very confident. And the Nari identity is confidence. And that's where with the confidence, everyone can win anything. So now, from now onwards, every day, almost every week, you are listening to me. Now, you're going to hear the Neelaben, and rest of program she will conduct. Neelaben, thank you for coming. And now stage is yours, and we can start.
Jai Shri Krishna, Namaste. As I mentioned earlier, it's a celebration of our women and especially some of our multi-talented women in our community. And we're going to begin. Our first wonderful woman is Rina Ben Vasan. Rina Ben's a young mum who originally came from Zimbabwe, and she, since settling here, continues to share her culture with us. She's a very active member of our community, ever ready to assist. And even when the children have Gujarati school concerts, she's ready to teach them dances or wherever she may be needed. Today, we are very fortunate in that she is going to share all her beautiful crochet creations with us. Once again, showing how multi talented our women are. Um, Thank you, Rina Bain, for sharing those beautiful creations with us. They are so cute, and I'm sure everyone watching at home, if you have not taken up crochet yet, you will be keen to do so. And Rina Ben will tell you that all it needs is a single ball of wool, a crochet hook, and lots of enthusiasm. So don't hesitate, you're never too old or too young. And now we're going to meet another very, very wonderful woman, and her name is Deben Naren. Just a quick note to tell you how multi talented our women are. Deben used to sew sari blouses before. I'm not sure if she still sews, but they would fit like a glove perfectly, no problem. And Deben is always ready and available to sing, whether it's in the mandir, whether at sitsings, she's always made herself available. And how wonderful is that? And today, she is going to share with us a method on how to prepare something which we all love to eat. I'm sure you're wondering what that is. Well, I hope you guessed right. It's papad. And let's see now how it's done.
One of my specialities is making papad. I have used urad flour, salt, sanchar powder, hing powder, and fresh chilies and made a stiff hard dough. I put it through a grinding machine and this is the texture of the dough. I stretched it to be flexible. The more you stretch, the more flexible it gets. It's a strenuous job. Use all your energy. Now I rolled the dough into a smooth long roll. Made it very smooth and long. And I cut it with a gut into equal sizes. You can use cotton or gut to cut the gullas. This is a stretchy dough. One has to be careful to cut equal and same sizes to ensure the size of the rolled papad is same. It's better to use sesame oil. I have greased the gullas with the sesame oil. I then greased the tray with sesame oil and rolled out thin round papad. As you can see, the papad is being rolled nice and round and very thin. Make it as big as you can. Now the papad is carefully transferred from the tray to the supudu, which is covered with cotton cloth to absorb moisture and prevent sticking. It is ready to be dried in the hot sun on a straw mat. The papad are now drying in the hot sun. As I always make papad ahead of time and store it in an airtight container. This is the final result of the papad. It is drying in the hot sun. As you can see, this is a team effort. And isn't it wonderful to have my grandchildren involved in this learning process? Please enjoy making your own papad at home, where you will be able to taste the quality and freshness of homemade papad. Thank you. Namaste. Jai Shri Krishna.
Thank you, Davin. That was so informative. It looked like such hard work, and I know from a little bit of experience I've had, it requires lots of manpower to go and pick up all those papad, to get them dry and roll them out. But you made it look so easy. So I'm sure there will be many, many orders coming your way. Our next speaker, or rather not speaker, our next special lady is somebody everybody knows, and that is Jaishri Ben Ramji. Oh, sorry, my error, mistake. We've learnt a craft and we've learnt how to feed our tummies. So now it's time for us to sit back, relax, enjoy a bhajan from Chandrika Ben Bika.
तुझे ईश्वर कहूँ या अल्लाह, तू भव भय तारनहारा, तेरा नाम राही प्यारा, जग में मेरा पालनहारा। तुझे ईश्वर कहूँ या अल्लाह, तू भव भय तारनहारा, तेरा नाम राही प्यारा,
Thank you, Chandrika Bain, for that lovely bhajan, and Ansu Bain Bika for accompanying Chandrika Bain in perfect rhythm with the manjira. There was a small technical error, but we will correct that a little bit later. And now, our next guest is Jaishri Bain Ramji. And I'm sure that she is going to have us all running right back to the kitchen after we see her demonstration of Dokhra.
One, two, three. Right? Namaste. I will be demonstrating dokla that you bake in the oven. You need 2 cups of semolina and then 2 tablespoons of chana load. You sift the two together. To this, I add 2 teaspoons of salt, 2 teaspoons of sugar, and a teaspoon of arad. And then you add 3 teaspoons of baking powder. This is green masala. It's got green chilies and ginger and garlic in there. And then you add a tin of sweet corn. To this is half a cup of oil which is heated, and then you add some rye in here, and once the rye stops splattering, you let the oil cool down and then you add it to this mixture. There's 2 cups of sour milk in here and lemon juice. This is freshly chopped dana that you add in this mixture. And now lastly, you add a packet of enos to this. And now you spray and cook your muffin pans, and you just add the dough in there. Sprinkle some desiccated coconut. And turn. Let this bake in the oven for 20 to 25 minutes. Oven on 180 for about 20 to 25 minutes. Here's it here, nice and light and fluffy.
Thank you, Jayashri Ben. With that very inspiring demo, I'm sure that everybody will be ready to try that out tomorrow. And it will definitely be on the menu. And oh, by the way, all the husbands watching, there's no frying involved, so no excuse. You can go to the oven and bake this lovely dish. Our next Our next woman who will be sharing with us is well known to everybody. Atishka Ben will be giving us, or should I rather say, be sharing a talk with us.
Able to talk about these things really gets me excited. So thank you so much for the opportunity. To learn from everyone around us it's been incredible. So my part of today is to help you understand and encourage you to try and figure out certain things about yourself and to really look at the way that you're actually living as a woman in this millennium. So what I'm going to be doing is talking to you a bit more about the things I wish women knew and experienced and understood from a much earlier age in order to be able to thrive in our environment as opposed to just surviving. So thank you so much, and let's get started. We tend to want to be the nurturers. We want to be that person that everyone comes to for advice, that is constantly helping, that is constantly busy being that person that everyone looks for when they need stuff. And the flip side of that is that we get really upset when people don't leave us alone. So what happens is that we tend to feel as though if we aren't in that position of power to be able to have control over things, that we are less than, that we are not worthy of love or attention or everything else that's happening around us. So what I would like people to know and understand is that you should not attach your self-worth to how useful you are. Because many times you are going to grow up and go into situations where the kids are completely self-sufficient, they're able to take care of themselves, and here you are feeling this loss, this emptiness. Nobody needs me right now. What do I do with myself? Or if you have, the situation where your partner's passed on, your kids have immigrated, everyone's far Namaste to everyone. Thank you so much for having me on this auspicious Women's Month weekend, and to be able to talk about these things really gets me excited. So thank you so much for the opportunity. To learn from everyone around us it's been incredible. So my part of today is to help you understand and encourage you to try and figure out certain things about yourself, and to really look at the way that you're actually living as a woman in this millennium. So what I'm going to be doing is talking to you a bit more about the things I wish women knew and experienced and understood from a much earlier age in order to be able to thrive in our environment as opposed to just surviving. So thank you so much, and let's get started. We tend to want to be the nurturers. We want to be that person that everyone comes to for advice, that is constantly helping, that is constantly busy being that person that everyone looks for when they need stuff. And the flip side of that is that we get really upset when people don't leave us alone. So what happens is that we tend to feel as though if we aren't in that position of power to be able to have control over things, that we are less than, that we are not worthy of love or attention or everything else that's happening around us. So what I would like people to know and understand is that you should not attach your self-worth to how useful you are. Because many times you are going to grow up and go into situations where the kids are completely self-sufficient, they're able to take care of themselves, and here you are feeling this loss, this emptiness. Nobody needs me right now. What do I do with myself? Or if you have, the situation where your partner's passed on, your kids have immigrated, everyone's far away, what happens to you then? Because if all you've done is attach your worth to how useful you are to other people, and you don't have the opportunity to do that as much as you'd like to, you are going to feel as though you are failing in some way, that your identity it's confusing all of a sudden. And the biggest mistake that people make is that they haven't spent enough time in their early days, in their youth, building up some sort of identity of who they are before they take on additional roles in life. So you go straight from being a daughter to a student, from a student to a girlfriend, from a girlfriend through to a partner, to a wife, and from there you become a mother. There's constant role changing, and it's always because someone needs you for something. But who are you before all of that? What are your needs? What is it that you actually like? By attaching your self-worth to being useful, you skew the line between who you are, what you want, and what everybody else needs from you. Because if they stop needing you, then who are you? And that is a big and scary question to ask, and most people avoid the question completely. It's like, no, I'm constantly busy, I'm constantly doing things for everyone around me, so I'm very, very important. Are you important to yourself? That is the question you need to ask. Often we assume that being soft is a weakness, and that is actually our greatest strength as women. Because what that does is that it allows others to be vulnerable. It allows others around us to open up. It allows others to feel safe and protected. But we need to learn to set better boundaries for ourselves. Because what happens when we aren't able to push back and say no to things that disrespect us? What happens when we decide that we are complacent with the way things are, and that we are just going to settle for however life is because we are too afraid to change. We are too afraid to question how we make decisions. We are too afraid that, what gives us the right to cause chaos? What gives us the right to change? What gives us the right to change our minds about situations, or to see life differently, or to stop liking things that we thought we liked, but we actually didn't, because we had adjusted and compromised and decided that this is how it is? What happens to us when we become unaware of what it is that we truly want and that we truly will accept for ourselves? Setting boundaries does not make us mean or nasty or selfish or snobbish. All it does is allows us to make ourselves comfortable. We don't really have the opportunity to spend time getting to know who we are. We are attached to our roles, we are attached to our responsibilities, and to most extent, we haven't really spent time with ourselves. We don't know what it's like to enjoy our own company. So the next thing that I'd want women to understand is that you have to get used to really love being in your own company. Spend time by yourself. It is not selfish. It is not wrong. You shouldn't feel bad about it, because you are your own best friend. And by doing things that are disrespectful, by doing things that make you feel unhappy, you are becoming your own worst enemy. So by spending time with yourself, you truly get to understand, what is it that I like? What foods would I like to eat? Many times we compromise, we ask, and it's a vote, and then we decide what we're making. But spend time by yourself, travel by yourself, go to restaurants by yourself. Enjoy being by yourself. There will be opportunities to be around people and embrace the love of being around people in groups and things like that. But when you need to truly reflect, when you need to truly grow, you have to spend time with yourself, because it's easy to not see things about yourself that needs to be changed because you're too busy. You are distracted. You are making sure that you are everything to everyone and nothing to yourself. And what's happening is that you are deflecting completely. You're not figuring out what behaviors of yours really need to be looked at, what thoughts of yours really need to happen, and where do you actually draw the line with all the things in your life. Spend time by yourself, pamper yourself, love yourself, and don't feel ashamed of doing that, because not everything is having to give 100% of yourself. You need to keep some for yourself. So one of the things that I have spoken about recently a lot is that people need to stop having unrealistic expectations, not just with regards to themselves, but with regards to those around them, especially their kids. Because we all don't have to have the same experiences as everyone else. This is extremely limiting, and it is also extremely disrespectful and hurtful to people when you don't understand the circumstances that they're in, and you constantly bring up things that genuinely shouldn't even matter to you. So respecting that everyone is on a very different journey. Everyone has their own circumstances. Everyone has different expectations for themselves of where they want to go, what they want to do with their life. Try not to show them what you think they are lacking in their life. If you have no conversation points, like genuinely no conversation points, don't default to when will you. When are you? Because you do not understand the mindset of the person in that moment. How many times have people come up to you and asked you those things? You genuinely don't want people asking you questions like that, because it's actually quite hurtful when you are expecting them to follow a trajectory that you assume is okay for you, but is the complete opposite for them. Not everyone wants to stay in the country. Not everyone wants to have kids. Not everyone wants to get married. And not everyone is comfortable having the discussions with you and trying to have to justify themselves and their existence. Women need to be more cognizant of the mental health of women around them. And it starts with acknowledging that you need to start being more supportive of each other and less destructive in the way that you treat each other. If you are going to be someone who says, I support women, I encourage women, I want women to be empowered, stop the behaviors within yourself that limits that. Because we are not able to change what we don't acknowledge. So change your own perceptions, change your own behavior. Not everything that people want in their life has to be the same as yours. So not everyone has to have the same experiences as you. No one wants to go through life losing a child. No one wants to go through life becoming a widow. No one wants to go through life having a disability. So one of the things that I have spoken about recently a lot is that people need to stop having unrealistic expectations, not just with regards to themselves, but with regards to those around them, especially their kids. Because we all don't have to have the same experiences as everyone else. This is extremely limiting. And it is also extremely disrespectful and hurtful to people when you don't understand the circumstances that they're in, and you constantly bring up things that genuinely shouldn't even matter to you. So respecting that everyone is on a very different journey. Everyone has their own circumstances. Everyone has different expectations for themselves of where they want to go, what they want to do with their life. Try not to show them what you think they are lacking in their life. If you have no conversation points, like genuinely no conversation points, don't default to when will you, when are you, because you do not understand the mindset of the person in that moment. How many times have people come up to you and asked you those things? You genuinely don't want people asking you questions like that, because it's actually quite hurtful when you are expecting them to follow a trajectory that you assume is okay for you, but is the complete opposite for them. Not everyone wants to stay in the country. Not everyone wants to have kids. Not everyone wants to get married, and not everyone is comfortable having the discussions with you and trying to have to justify themselves and their existence. Women need to be more cognizant of the mental health of women around them. And it starts with acknowledging that you need to start being more supportive of each other and less destructive in the way that you treat each other. If you are going to be someone who says, I support women, I encourage women, I want women to be empowered, stop the behaviors within yourself that limits that. Because we are not able to change what we don't acknowledge. So change your own perceptions, change your own behavior. Not everything that people want in their life has to be the same as yours. So not everyone has to have the same experiences as you. No one wants to go through life losing a child. No one wants to go through life becoming a widow. No one wants to go through life having a disability. So thank you very much for giving me the opportunity to speak to you. If there is anything you'd like to talk about or that you want to consider, please do get in touch with me. My details are with Guruji. My final word to you as women, no matter what happens, learn to love and accept yourself as you are. The light, the dark, the funny, the quirky. Absolutely everything about you is beautiful. And I hope you know that. Love you all.
Thank you, Atishka Ben, for those very, very insightful words. It will certainly leave a lot for us to all think about and apply in our daily lives. From this short presentation today, I'm sure it's become quite clear um, to everybody, and I'm sure it's even already known, that women are truly multi-talented individuals, and they are powerhouses of beauty, brains, energy, and creativity. Women are capable of everything. We even have women astronauts today who've just gone up to space. We've doctors, lawyers, pilots. In any aspect or any field, our women are right there in the forefront. And today we have choices about whether we want to see male or females. Any career, there's a place there for us, which is wonderful. And then we've got to say one other thing too, is very often when it comes to fasting, the women are the first ones to do it. Very often the men will say, nah, I can't do it. So taking fasting into account, it leads us to our next wonderful lady. It's a surprise. I wonder if you'll be able to guess who this person is. Somebody very well known to us. Let's see if I can tell you. Well, if you didn't guess yet, it's our very own Guruji's wife, Rupal Vyas. And she is going to be making something especially or rather more popular during fasting time. I'm wondering whether I should tell you the name or let you guess, but maybe I should just give you a hint. It's called Khichdi, Sabudana Khichdi. Well, let's see how this is made.
જય શ્રી કૃષ્ણ. આજે આપણે સાબુદાણાની ફરાળી ખીચડી બનાવતા શીખીશું, જે આપણે કોઈ પણ ઉપવાસ જેવા કે એકાદશી, શ્રાવણ મહિનાના ઉપવાસ કે એવા કોઈ પણ ઉપવાસમાં ખાઈ શકે છે. ઘણીવાર આપણે એકની એક વસ્તુ ઉપવાસમાં ખાઈને થાકી જઈએ છીએ. તો આજે આપણે નવી રેસીપી એટલે કે સાબુદાણાની ખીચડી બનાવતા શીખીશું. જેની માટે આપણે એક વાટકું પલાળેલા સાબુદાણા, શેકેલા સિંગદાણા, 2 થી 3 કાપેલા લીલા મરચા, સિંધવ મીઠું, દાળ મરચાની ભૂકી, એક બટેટું બાફેલું બટેટાના ટુકડા, તેલ અને જીરું. મેં અહીંયા સાબુદાણા પલાળીને એટલે કે 3 થી 4 કલાક પહેલા પલાળીને તૈયાર રાખ્યા છે. તે તમે જોઈ શકો છો. જે તમે આ પલાળા વગરના અને આ પલાળેલા જે ફૂલીને સરસ તૈયાર થઈ ગયા છે. હવે આપણે સાબુદાણાની ખીચડી બનાવીશું. સૌથી પહેલા આપણે કઢાઈમાં 2 થી 3 ચમચી તેલ મૂકીશું. એને થોડું ગરમ થવા દઈશું. તેની અંદર પછી આપણે 1 ચમચી જીરું મૂકીશું. જીરાને થોડી વાર ગરમ થવા દઈશું. હવે આપણે એમાં અંદર 2 થી 3 કાપેલા લીલા મરચાં મૂકીશું. ત્યાર પછી શેકેલા સિંગદાણા, ત્યાર પછી તૈયાર રાખેલા બાફેલા બટેટાના નાના ટુકડા પીસ મૂકીશું અંદર. હવે એને આપણે બરાબર હલાવીને મિક્સ કરીશું. જોઈ શકો છો બરાબર બધું અંદર એક સરખું મિક્સ થઈ ગયું છે. હવે આપણે એમાં પલાળેલા તૈયાર કરેલા સાબુદાણા મૂકીને ધીમા તાપે એને રાખી મિક્સ કરતા રહીશું. બસ એક સરખું મિક્સ કરીને એને આપણે 1 થી 2 મિનિટ ધીમા તાપ ઉપર મૂકી દઈશું. એને આપણે મિક્સ કરીને આપણે એની અંદર 1 ચમચી લાલ મરચાની ભૂકી મૂકીશું. સિંધવ મીઠું સ્વાદ અનુસાર. હવે એને ફરી આપણે મિક્સ કરતા રહીશું. હવે આપણે એની અંદર 1 ચમચી લીંબુનો રસ મૂકીશું. ફરી એને બરાબર રીતે મિક્સ કરીને આ થઈ ગઈ આપણી ફરાળી સાબુદાણાની ખીચડી. હવે આપણે સાબુદાણાની ખીચડી તૈયાર થઈ ગઈ છે, જે તમે તમારા ઘરે બનાવીને એને ખાઈ શકો છો, ટેસ્ટ કરી શકો છો. જય શ્રી કૃષ્ણ. નમસ્તે.
Jai Shri Krishna. East London Hindu Society is 97-year-old. East London Hindu Mandir in Berlin is a 41-year-old. We have a very vast and in-depth history to share. History is something make us understand to past. It will help to future generation to understand the institution. Any institutions, any family depend on the history. History is important because history is something allow us to understand and also make us to be become a guide for the future. It will be help to keep our tradition and culture alive. Our history will take us to the root from where we came. Also, we must remember, without history, we wouldn't have exist, and without history, we wouldn't have achieved our tremendous success in our life. It's very important. So, for us to be a part of this historic event this year, Krishna Jayanti, I request to the all senior members in the community, please make a video clip and share your historical word, historical thoughts, history with next generations. That your word and your history will help us and will help a next generation to be protect themselves, to be not a mislead by the wasted interest. Let's make the video clip and send it to the East London Hindu Society email address and WhatsApp number by 15th of August. If I request to all the grandchildren and children, please take an initiative and record the video of your grandfather, grandmother, share it, and let's make together this Krishna Jayanti is another historical day in our life. Jai Shri Krishna, take care, stay safe, stay healthy.
Thank you, Rupalbin. That looked absolutely delicious. And thank you for giving us a new recipe to add to our daily menu. That more or less brings to an end our presentation today. And now I'd like to say a special thank you to all of you who joined us for this virtual presentation today, and especially a special thanks to our guests who were so willing to share their talents with us. And now I'm going to hand over to Guruji to.
Okay. So first things first, I would like to say thank you to Neelaben because she came and 1 hour to sit front of the camera and preparations and while lots of other things, we are in a COVID situation, but in the same time too, she came forward and helped us. So thank you, Nilaben, for your time and sharing your efforts and everything with us. In the same time, I always say, let us to be understand when we celebrating the Women's Month. Today, our South Africa celebrating Women's Month, but in the same time, we must understand when we pronounce the name, we say Shiv Shakti, Lakshmi Narayana, Radhe Krishna, Sita Ram. Front of the every male person, there is a female name, Shiv Shakti, Shakti. So we must start understand, respect our Stri Shakti, our ladies who always frontliner. When I say frontliner, yes, it is a one woman, mother, one woman is daughter, one woman is in the same time working woman and everything. Now, when one woman works, I'm sure Nilaben, when you go to the shop eh, and then when you come home, eh, the Jai Bhai don't have to worry. He come home and say, okay, like must I make the dhokda or khichdi? But you have to worry about it. So I think Jaiba is watching now. So when the Nilaben come home, I think let's make the dokla the way Jaisri Ben make
I
it.
think so. That
And
will
then
be nice.
it will be nice.
It will be nice.
And then tea and then marcha. So you will have a nice supper with. And why I'm saying, uh, I always cook for my wife. Most of people know about it. Like today, while we are celebrating, let me tell you, uh, every morning, every morning and afternoon, the tea in our house, who makes? Myself make
Oh,
for her.
very
When she
good.
come on the table, the tea is ready.
Very good, Guruji.
We set an example, but I'm not trying to now creating the fighting because now Mirabel will say Ashwin. Eh? So then all houses, but it's true. We must start understand, respect. Not only respect this, okay, now I'm putting my wife front. No, no. What I'm saying is let's share the responsibility. And in the life, one thing everybody want a true respect, genuine respect. And genuine respect come with not words, with action. So for my message to the all of us, everybody, let's set an example and share the experience and in the same time set an example with our own action. So this was our virtual Nari Samelan. I can do the 3 hour show, 4 hour show, but time is little bit in limitation with us. From tomorrow, Shravan month is beginning. I request to all the devotees, please join us live on virtual on YouTube. We will do the Abhishek and Shiv Chalisas and mantras and everything. And not only that, Krishna Jayanti also is coming. We're going to celebrate Krishna Jayanti with virtually as well. And you have seen the promotion videos. So let's share the history. History is something which is very important. Let's share the history to our next generation. And that history is something is tells us how to run the institutions in many more years. Without history, what can happen is if you don't know the history, then vested interest use them brainwashing technique and destroy your culture and traditions and everything. Therefore, is responsibility on our shoulder as senior most members and share the few words. Many times the members ask what I'm going to say. I says you have many things to say. Let me give you example. I'm here in 13 year. So during the 13-year time, I can tell you one incident when the incidents about when I joined East London very first year. It was 2008 August month. And that 2008 August month, I joined 23rd of August in East London Mandir. And around about 30th of August plus minus, you can correct the date later on. Means कि after 4 5 days, there was a Krishna Jayanti festival into the town. I wasn't aware about the importance, means I wasn't aware about the how powerful Krishna Jayanti celebration in East London. First things. When I joined East London, there was a very first year, and then after when I started on that very same year, because always when mic comes in our hand, it's very difficult to leave the mic. Today is mic front of me, so when the mic comes in our hand, then we are king. But anyway, that time my English was Javado. I'm telling you. વાત જવા દો સ્વીટનેસ સ્વીટી થઈ જતું હતું સાચું કહું છું but that was the first year. Now remember, what I said that time my English, and suddenly this mind psychologically subconsciously something triggered in Nilaben's mind, and straight away she started laughing. The incidents that happened that 2008 still sitting. When just I used the my English. That's one word I used. That's it. But anyway, then I was continuing because I was speaking in Gujarati anyway. Then after the event over, I remember that time Praveen Bhai Harry, he was in our town, but now he's in Johannesburg. He told me one thing in Gujarati, I'm going to say. He said, અમને તો લાગતું જ નથી કે તમે નવા આયેલા છો. અમને એમ જ લાગે છે કે તમે અમારા પરિવારના જ છો. It was only 4 days after, but this is a history. What I'm trying to say is everybody must try to recall themselves one incident, and it will be trigger in somebody else's mind, and they will be enjoying. Yes, I was part of this thing. So let's make this Krishna Jayanti one of the vibrant and powerful in virtual way. Now time is telling me, because we also have a time limitations. So time is telling me to make the arti. Thank you once again, Nilaben, for your time and everything.
Pleasure.
Thank you to everyone who watching us. And now we devotees, kindly please prepare your arti thadi. We're going to do the arti just now. रोय चलो चकवाह क्या जय सांझ पड़े मत रोय गौरी पूछे गोरिया कोण भले रो देश संपत होय तो घर भला नहीं तो भलो परदेश धीमी गयो रवि देखता कुबुद्धि गई गुरु ज्ञान संपत गई अति लोभ से भक्ति गई अभिमान अभिमानी कुंजर भयो लियो अपने सिर भार ताके जमरा कूट से जम लोड गड़े लुहार श्री राधे कृष्ण भगवान की जय। ओम जय जगदीश हरे पिता जय जगदीश हरे भक्त जनों के संकट दास जनों के संकट क्षण में दूर करे ओम जय जगदीश हरे जो ध्यावे पल पावे दुख विनसे मन का प्रभु दुख विनसे मन का सुख संपत्ति घर आवे सुख संपत्ति घर आवे कष्ट मिटे तन का ओम जय जगदीश हरे मात पिता तुम मेरे चरण ग्रहु में किसकी प्रभु चरण ग्रहु में किसकी तुम बिन और न कोई तुम बिन और न कोई आस करूं मैं किसकी ओम जय जगदीश हरे तुम पूरन परमात्मा तुम अंतरयामी प्रभु तुम अंतरयामी परम ब्रह्म परमेश्वर परम ब्रह्म परमेश्वर तुम सबके स्वामी ओम जय जगदीश हरे तुम करुणा के सागर तुम पालन करता प्रभु तुम पालन करता मैं बालक अज्ञानी मैं बालक अज्ञानी कृपा करो भरता ओम जय जगदीश हरे तुम हो एक अघोषर सबके प्राणपति प्रभु सबके प्राणपति किस विध मिलो दयामय किस विध मिलो दयामय तुमको मैं कुमति ओम जय जगदीश हरे दीन बंधु दुख हरता तुम रक्षक मेरे प्रभु तुम रक्षक मेरे करुणा हस्त बढ़ावो करुणा हस्त बढ़ावो शरण पड़ा तेरे ओम जय जगदीश हरे विषय विकार मिटाओ पाप हरो देवा प्रभु पाप हरो देवा श्रद्धा भक्ति बढ़ावो श्रद्धा भक्ति बढ़ावो संतन की सेवा ओम जय जगदीश हरे ओम जय जगदीश हरे पिता जय जगदीश हरे भक्त जनों के संकट दास जनों के संकट क्षण में दूर करे जय जगदीश हरे ओम जय जगदीश हरे ओम जय जगदीश हरे कर्पूरगौरं करुणावतारं संसारसारं भुजगेन्द्रहारं सदा वसन्तं हृदयारविन्दे भवं भवानी सहितं नमामि मङ्गलं भगवान् विष्णु मङ्गलं गरुडध्वज मङ्गलं पुण्डरीकाक्ष मङ्गलाय तनोहरि सर्वमङ्गलमाङ्गल्ये शिवे सर्वार्थसाधिके
शरण्ये त्र्यंबके गौरी नारायणी नमोस्तुते, नारायणी नमोस्तुते, नारायणी नमोस्तुते। राधे कृष्ण भगवान की जय। जलेन शीतलीकरणं कुर्यात्, पुष्पैः देववन्दनं, पुष्पैः देववन्दनं, पुष्पैः देववन्दनं, पुष्पैः देववन्दनं, पुष्पैः देववन्दनं, पुष्पैः देवी वन्दनं। स्थापितदेवताभ्यो नमः। निराञ्जनं समर्पयामि, निराञ्जनं समर्पयामि, निराञ्जनं समर्पयामि, निराञ्जनं समर्पयामि, निराञ्जनं समर्पयामि, निराञ्जनं समर्पयामि, निराञ्जनं समर्पयामि। आरार्तिकम् आरार्तिकम् आरार्तिकं समर्पयामि। यश आरोग्यप्राप्त्यर्थे स्वात्मानामभिवन्दनं पात्रात् बहिः हस्तं प्रक्षाल्य श्रीरामचन्द्र कृपाळु भजमन् हरन भव भयदारुणम् नवकञ्जलोचन कञ्जमुखकर कञ्जपदकञ्जारुणम् कन्दर्प अगणित अमित छवि नवनील नीरजसुन्दिरम् पटपीतमानौ तडितरुचिशुचि नौमि जनकसुतावरम् शिरमुकुटकुण्डलतिलकचारु उदार अङ्गविभूषणम् आजानुभुज शरचापधरु सङ्ग्रामजितखरदूषणम् भजु दीनबन्धु दिनेश दानव दैत्यवंशनिकन्दनम् रघुनन्दयानन्द कन्द कौसल्य चन्द्र दशरथनन् इति वदित तुलसीदास शङ्कर शेषमुनिमनरञ्जनं मम हृदय कुञ्ज निवास कुरु कामादिखलदलरञ्जनम्। सियावर रामचंद्र भगवान की जय। राधे कृष्ण भगवान की जय। गणपति महाराज की जय। विघ्नेश्वराय वरदाय सुरप्रियाय लंबोदराय सकलाय जगद्विताय नागाननाय श्रुतियज्ञविभूषिताय गौरीसुताय गणनाथ नमो नमस्ते। गणपति महाराज की जय। उमापति महादेव की जय। श्मशाने स्वाक्रीडा स्मरहर पिशाचा सहचरा चिताभस्मालेपं सृगपिनुकरोटी परिकरम् अमङ्गल्यं शीलं तव भवतु नामेवमखिलं तथापि स्मर्तॄणां वरद परमं मङ्गलमसि। उमापति महादेव की जय। राधे कृष्ण भगवान की जय। कृष्ण कन्हैया लाल की जय। बालकृष्ण भगवान की जय। शान्ताकारं भुजगशयनं पद्मनाभं सुरेशं विश्वाधारं गगनसदृशं मेघवर्णं शुभांगं लक्ष्मीकान्तं कमलनयनं योगिभिर्ध्यानगम्यं वन्दे विष्णुं भवभयहरं सर्वलोकैकनाथं वसुदेवं सुतं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुम्। आकाशात् पतितं योऽयं यथा गच्छति सागरं सर्वदेवो नमस्कारं केशवं प्रति गच्छति मुखं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुलङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपा त्वमहं वन्दे परमानन्दममाधवम्। त्वमेव माताश्च पिता त्वमेव त्वमेव बन्धुश्च सखा त्वमेव त्वमेव विद्या द्रविणं त्वमेव त्वमेव सर्वं मम देवदेवं। गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णु गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरं गुरुर्साक्षात् परब्रह्म तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। असद्गिरिसमं शातकज्जलं सिन्धुपात्रे सुरतरुवर्षाखा लेखनी पत्रमुरवी लिखत यदि गृहीत्वां शारदा सर्वकालं ददपि तव गुणानां मीशपारं नयाति। राधे कृष्ण भगवान की जय। जय 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 जगदम्बे आद्य शक्ति भवानी माँ अम्बे मात की जय। नमो देव्यै महादेव्यै शिवायै सततं नमः। नमः प्रकृत्यै भद्रायै नियतां प्रणतास्मतां विद्युत्तां समप्रभां मृगपतिं स्कन्धस्थितां भीषणां कन्याभिकरवालकेटविलसत् हस्ताभिरासेवितां हस्तैश्चक्रधरालिखेटविशिखां चापं गुणां तर्जनीं बिभ्राणां मण्डलात्मिकां शशिधरां दुर्गां त्रिनेत्रां भजे दुर्गां त्रिनेत्रां भजे दुर्गां त्रिनेत्रां भजे। अम्बे मात की जय, आशापुरी मात की जय, महालक्ष्मी मात की जय, राधे कृष्ण भगवान की जय, कृष्ण कन्हैया लाल की जय, बालकृष्ण भगवान की जय, उमापति महादेव की जय, गणपति महाराज की। ओम नमः पार्वती पते हर हर महादेव हर। ओम नमस्ते हमारा अहो प्राणदाता, नमस्ते हमारा पिता माता भ्राता, नमस्ते महादेव जोड़िद विहस्ते, नमस्ते प्रभु जी, नमस्ते नमस्ते नमस्ते। जय श्री कृष्ण। विल सी यू टुमारो इवनिंग।